All right, guys, it is Pride Month again. It's odd that, veterans get one day, mothers get one day, fathers get one day, everybody gets one day, but somehow the Pride BS gets a month of craziness, and that's kicking off now because it's June. So we're going to see if under the Trump administration, people are still allowed to suck each other off in public with kids watching or standing right next to them, or give them like lap rides at Pride Parade. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of leaning towards probably yes. Probably even the Trump administration will not be able to do anything about the depravity that goes on at these parades. They can't even really be called parades, It's just basically depraved nonsense in front of children. Now, I get it. It's not only their fault, it's also the parents' fault for taking their kids to a depraved tranny sex party, because that's what it's turned into, right? The original Pride was for gay people celebrating their independence. It wasn't a nasty, debaucherous, horrific, fucking, almost pedophilic, freak off like at Diddy's house, but then for the whole city that the Pride Parade is going through. It wasn't like that to begin with, but the tranny bullshit has basically captured Pride as we know. They stole the flag, they fucking ruined the flag, they fucking took over all these Pride parades, and now it's just turned into one insane, nasty mess. And I'm telling you, I'm sorry, but unless people, regular citizens, start doing something about this, and it's not going to stop, right? Because as we learned in Washington State, which is what I'm going to talk about today, in Washington State, they've got some pretty crazy anti-discrimination laws, and the court in Washington State got a win for the Pride people last week, I think it was, and that's what we're going to talk about. So check it out. It's June 2nd. It's Monday. The weekend went fast, but summer is here, so that's at least something. And it's now 9:30 in the morning in Germany. This is the Insanity Report for today, and we're going to talk about the insane shit kicking off in Washington State. So here we go, guys. In Washington State, they have anti-discrimination laws, like most states do. You know what I mean? Most states will have anti-discrimination laws, and that's normal. But they are using these anti-discrimination laws to make it so that women's spas, in this case, a South Korean Christian woman's spa, so it's for women only, right? Apparently they're naked at this spa. They have to shower at this spa, stuff like that. But they have to now allow men pretending to be women, masquerading as women, and not passing at all because they still have their dicks, right? They have to allow them into these places, which basically means the business model of these companies is dead in Washington State because they can't operate under their business model, right? Basically in Washington State, you can no longer open a women's only facility where women pay good money to be able to utilize a women's only facility, because if a tranny comes in, waves his dick around and says, "I am a woman," then you have to let that person in, right? You have to let them in and let them perv out on the women in the fucking spa. It's totally crazy. It's crazy even talking about it, right? You have to let them in. You have to grant them access. The other women just have to put up with it, which of course they won't. They're going to cancel their memberships, and the business is going to go out of business. That's what's going to happen, right? So these companies, these businesses that want to do women's only activities or give women a space for themselves for only women, they're not going to be able to operate in states like Washington State, right? It's just not going to be able to work. So they're going to have to move. And, not every business has the ability to just pick up and move house to a different state. All the employees have to go with them. They don't have the excess money to be able to do it. So they're just basically going to get crushed by this disgusting, perverted, fucked up movement, right? That proclaims to be for trans rights, but what they actually are for special privileges for people that proclaim to be trans. That's what they are, right? That's all they are. It's not about trans rights. These people are getting special privileges, and our rights and women's rights are being put on the back burner to satisfy and appease a mini percentage of the population who clearly has a horrific mental disorder if they want to push this issue, which they do. So Pride can kick off with a celebration of winning, and Washington State basically takes the cake in ridiculousness, right? Basically, it's unfucking believable that this shit is happening still, right? And yes, under Trump, it's going to still happen. Why? Because these are states' laws, right? These are states' laws that are putting trans people ahead and above their own regular population, regular citizenry. So now a pervert with his dick hanging out has to be able to be let into a women's spa, you know? And next it'll be kids, it'll be, teen girls gymnastics, that, a man who pretends he's 15 and a girl, he pretends he's a 15-year-old high school girl, is now going to have to be let in, with the 15-year-old high school gymnast in their locker room, because, what can we say? You decide your own age, you decide your own sex, and everybody else will just go the fuck along with it. So, look, this is a state law. The federal government can't override the state law. Oh, but they can, though, right? They can in the form of Congress fucking doing their job, right? Congress could pass a federal law saying that, look, like in England, right? In England, the Supreme Court in England basically had to get out there and say, women are women. Women are adult human females, biological females are women, and everybody else is not a woman. They had to say that in order to be able to get this shit under control. Well, that's what Congress needs to do in America, right? Congress or the Supreme Court, but Congress can act, right? Congress can act right now and say, look, we're going to make a law saying that businesses that cater to only women are allowed to exclude men, even if they pretend that they're women. Even if they've had surgery to change their sex, but they still look like a dude without a dong, right? Even them can be excluded. Congress could pass a law right now. They have the majority, right? They could do it. They could get their people on board to vote on it. But of course, Congress is not doing jack shit, as always. So, again, people, it is quite the disappointing situation, I would have to say. I'm going to have to be honest and say, this is super disappointing. It is crazy that this is happening at all. You know what I'm saying? If I was one of these businesses, I would be having a complete shit fit, right? A complete shit fit. I would take it to the highest possible court, right? Take it to the highest possible court. And maybe they can trick around a little bit. Maybe they could just say, look, people with biological vaginas only are allowed in this facility, right? That's what I would start doing. I would just ignore this court ruling, right? And say, okay, well then I'll change the terms. Yes, trannies are allowed in, but not without a vagina, right? So at the very least, you'd get it to where only the people that had surgery could get in, right? And all the people that are just waving their dicks around, which is most of these trans activist people, right? Let's remember, most of these people are not real trans. Most of them are autogynephiliac perverts that like the idea of being a woman and like to be treated as a woman. You see that we don't have this the other way around. If it was trans, then you'd have women all over the place that are pretending to be men that want to now be let into men's sports. They want to be let into men's bathrooms. They want to be let into men's locker rooms. But you don't see any fucking court battles over that shit. You don't see them acting a fool, right? Because the women that are trans, other than the teenage girls. The women that are trans probably are really trans, right? But they're not about to get a boxing ring with a dude. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They're not going to do it. They're not worried about getting into the men's locker room and all that shit. So it's the pervert autogynephiliacs that are worried about getting in locker rooms, right? Trans people have been around for a long time, right? And they've never been battling to get into women's locker rooms, women's spaces, women's spas, women's fitness centers, women's showers, women's bathrooms. No, they've been trans, and they've just kept their shit on the down low unless they're with the people they like and they love. And if not, if they didn't keep it on the down low, that's fine too. But they weren't banging on judges' doors to get led into places that they know they're not going to get into, right? That's just new shit with this new LGBTQIA plus LMNOP QRSTP. That shit is new, right? And so now, the only way for this shit to end, because Congress, let me tell you people, Washington State and the other states like it, right? The Congress is never going to do anything, right? They're just not. There's not. I just don't believe in it anymore. I don't believe they're ever going to do anything worthwhile. If they were, they would tackle shit like this right now. If they were, they would have fucking started codifying some of the President Trump's executive orders into law. If they were, then they would start doing, adopting the Doge cuts. The Doge cut recommendations, Congress has to approve, but they haven't done that either yet. We're 4 months in, they haven't done jack shit, so they're not going to do anything about things like this. And so woke left ideology states, if you live in one, which Washington State is, they are going to be able to get away with this kind of shit from now until the day it gets stopped by the people themselves. It's time for the people to start acting to get rid of this shit, right? And look, I'm not going to tell anybody what they should do, but start brainstorming, right? Start brainstorming. Get creative. Start doing shit that will circumvent this kind of crap, that will make it clear to these lawmakers that this is unacceptable shit, that it's not going to be tolerated, that it will be met with great resistance, right? Insane resistance. If you are one of the customers of one of these spas that now has to accept men dangling their dicks out in front of women in women's only spaces, I would sue the spa.
Position imprecise.
I really would.
Searching for satellites.
I would sue the spa because they are not holding up their end of the bargain on your membership. See, part of the reason why women get memberships at women-only spas or fitness places, or you know what I'm saying? The reason why they get those memberships is because the guarantee is they will be there with women only. That's what makes it attractive to them. They're like, okay, cool, a women's only space. I don't have to be ogled the whole time by horny dudes at the gym. It's great. I'm going to go there. Now they have to accept even more perverted men running around pretending they're women in the gym or in the fitness place or in the spa. Now, I get it. The spa is being put between a rock and a hard place. Doesn't matter. Start a barrage of legal fights against the spa then. And say, look, they are not upholding the contract. The contract, this is women only. I'm getting fucked here, and I want to sue the spa. That will put the spa in a horrible position. I get it, right? I get it.
Position found.
But people have to start fighting back. The spa's going to go out of business anyway, right? Because it can't operate in a state like Washington State. So people are going to have to start fighting back, right? And they're going to have to start doing it through legal means. They're going to have to start doing it through creativity before the only remedy is going to be violence, right? Because that's what it's going to end up as. Because if you've got lawmakers that don't protect their citizens, don't protect the rights of women, right? Eventually, that's going to get out of hand. Eventually, some tranny perv is going to rub against the wrong woman who has the wrong husband to fuck with. That would be me, right? That would be me. Or the wrong daughter, right? And shit is gonna pop the fuck off, right? These lawmakers that are doing this kind of shit are doing this knowing that they are creating a breeding ground for violence, a breeding ground for division, a breeding ground for polarization. But they don't care, because all they care about is giving trans people more privileges than regular people. That's what they care about. Now you know, and now it's going to be up to the people to act accordingly in cases like this, right? The same thing with the trans pride parade shit. Instead of profiting, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Instead of profiting, instead of looking at only the money, why don't the businesses in the cities that these fucking debauchery parades run through just close the fucking doors for the day or the month? Don't serve them. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them in. Don't serve them. You know, otherwise just close down. You know what I'm saying? For a couple days. In protest. Do something, people. For God's sake. Everybody knows that the majority of people are not on board with this crazy shit. And yet the majority of people still serve these people, they open their businesses to them, they let their kids go to these pride parades, they let drag queen story hour happen, they let it get up to the point where a dude is showering with your daughter, you know what I'm saying, at school, and still nobody does anything. It's unfucking real how much of a pussified, unbelievably pussified ilk of people we have running around. Oh, I can't do anything or say anything because my neighbors and my job, my kids have to go to school, I have to do this. It's all the same excuses all the fucking time. You know what I mean? It's all the same excuses all the time. People are just cowardly, and they're getting beat by a bunch of dudes in dresses pretending to be women and demanding you treat them as such. And you're losing to these people. That's crazy. That's crazy. That shows how even the good men out there, the people that are still men, the people that still have a little bit of testosterone, right? Even the men with balls still don't have the balls to fight against this shit. You would think there would be many more beatdowns, many more crazy things happening with all of these trans insane rules and laws. You know, I'm sorry, but I'm not that old, okay? I'm 48, right? It wasn't that long ago that I was in high school. And let me tell you something, we would not have even needed, our parents wouldn't even known about it. You know what I mean? Unless the school called them. But if some dude was in one of our girlfriend's bathrooms in high school with a dress on, waving his dick around in front of our girlfriend, or, you know what I'm saying? We would have fucked that kid up. You know what I mean? We'd have got suspended. Who gives a fuck? We would have fucked that kid up and mocked them relentlessly. It would have never happened again. You know what I'm saying? Never happened again. Not because the school didn't allow it. Not because the parents got involved. No, because whoever in the school even got it in their head to try some shit like this knows that the other dudes at the school are going to serve them a whooping. You know, so they're not going to do it. Right? They're not going to do it. That's how we roll. It shouldn't be that. I mean, and now people are just putting up with it left and right. You know, nobody's doing shit. And I'm not advocating for violence here, but I am advocating for people to do something that is nonviolent before violence will become the only option. Right? It's going to be seen as self-defense for people, self-preservation. Right? This is going to get ugly because these states are going to let it get ugly. They are not on the side of the people. The left never is, right? So woke left Democrats are not on the side of regular people. They have made clear and carved their line in the sand. We are for everything else except for the regular citizens of whatever country we are serving. That's made clear by them. So people, I'm telling you, the pride nonsense is coming, right? It's coming. It started, it's June, it's gonna, more and more crazy shit's gonna happen in a city near you, and it's time for people to get some fucking balls and do something, because the law is not going to protect you. The government, the politicians, they are not going to protect you. Washington State has made that clear, people. I'm sorry to tell you, but the time of easy life, coasting by, going to work, coming home, getting blown, getting Netflix, having a TV dinner, Uber Eats, and just chilling is over, right? It's over. Yes, Trump is in office. The dude can only do so much. He's still got, thousands of people working in the government. They're working against him and everybody that works for him. Even the people that we thought were going to do great things are not doing great things at all. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi. What do you do here? Are the people just going to continue to sit on their ass and allow even the most insane of insanity just happen? Are you really going to all wait until it happens to somebody in your family, until your daughter gets confronted with a tranny in the locker room, or until they really go so far to say, well, I mean, if a 50-year-old man identifies as a 15-year-old girl, then that's cool. He can go to the gym with the girls, in high school. We have to let him in. You know what I'm saying? We have to let him in. So, what is everybody waiting for here? It's not bad enough yet? This trans bullshit? I mean, come on. And yeah, look, waiting for Congress or waiting for lawmakers or politicians to do something isn't really getting us very far. This trans shit is just getting worse. I thought it would go away, when Trump got elected. And for at certain levels, it is pulling back. But if states still have controls of these laws, and the states are being run by woke Democrats or wokesters in general, right? Then there's nothing you can do because the Congress is going to do it, right? Congress is not going to act on it. They're not going to do anything about it. And so it's left up to the people. I'm very sorry to tell you. That's the way it is. It is left up to you. So have fun with that. Washington State and the people in it, good luck. And good luck if you plan on waiting forever for Donald Trump to solve this problem, because it is not going to happen. Not because he might not want to. He probably does want to. He just doesn't have the power over everything. What can you say? Anyway, happy Monday. Happy Pride Month. Have fun in big cities with that shit. Luckily, I don't live in one. Thank God. All right. Peace out, people.